this area and Cusco and at the Coricancha, the gold temple, there was always these stories of this Chincana, this underground world, these tunnels, and then this treasure was put into it. Part of it started at the Sun Temple where we were yesterday, but this tunnel system goes under Cusco and then goes up to Sacsayhuaman. And this might have been part of it, huh, Brian? Because this is part of an entrance to some cave. Mainly they've been sealed up, but it's very, well-known legends here in Cusco of these secret underground tunnel system. And there are various entrances. There are stories of people going in, and this is like hundreds of years ago, going into the tunnel system, basically at Sacsayhuaman, and they're trying to find this vast treasure of, gold bars and other gold artifacts. There's supposedly these gold mummies of the early Incas, and part of the legend is that it's in Sacsayhuaman. So people would go into the tunnel system, and sometimes they would completely vanish. And there's one story of a guy. They were having a service at the church at the Coricancha. And suddenly during the service, there was this rapping on the floor. And then the priest had this big stone in the floor of the church opened up. And this guy came out of this tunnel system with gold in his hands. And he had been in there for like some days. And now it was crazy. And he died soon afterwards. But that's a very, very famous story here in Cusco.
This to practice their stone cutting skills, which is also bizarre. And you're just like, well, why would anyone make these upside down staircases or whatever?
I think it might have been a quarry type.
Well, and a lot of times, and part of the thing is, again, the mainstream thing is that all this is incredible effort by hundreds of people, chiseling and bashing with stones and polishing, but what the other evidence is that it's all, right.
It's that smooth.
And you can see how the mark, also look at here, and the cutting.
You talk about that 1 inch sort of
Smooth lip, right.
There. Look at the shine on it.
So right. I see. But it's more, the evidence would show that what was going on was that things were easy, and people were just, would be like one person, with a cutting machine, just cutting stuff.
Yeah.
Are you going down, Marcus?
Yeah, this stone is huge too. It's not high, but it's like the volume is many, 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 many tons.
Shiny, okay.
Whereas it was shiny just in the actual joint, it's actually shiny because the block is sticking out a bit more.
Sticking out a little bit more, okay. And so is it like then and stuff?
I'm not really sure. I didn't check that. But it also looks like some of the rock was maybe melted.
And the snake is there.
Well, and the idea that just any of the coating of the stone might have, caused some melting and stuff. And then this is this famous kind of serpent thing that's been cut into it, and then it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 chakras, or should there be 9? Maybe I'm missing one. But the idea of this being a serpent and this Kundalini energy, serpent energy, and you have chakra, Kundalini energy is at the base of your spine, and it moves up to your chakras. So that's one explanation.
This is all shaping.
Okay.
And the thing is, the amount of weathering that's on the surface after it was shaped,
Oh yes, here I see.
indicates greater antiquity than Inca period. But why they cut all this stuff out like this is the puzzle.
This could be the quarry for the big blocks.
I don't think so, because there's so many faults in the stone.
Okay.
And this one literally looks like it's flipped upside down. And not only that, but if you match the pattern of that one with the pattern of this one, it's possible that these two stones were together, and the carving was done, and then something like a mega quake happened, split that one apart, and also split this one here, made this one fall down, because you'll see similar cuts on that, on the surface of that one as well. So
So CERN had to factor in into their engineering and stuff the fact that every full moon a 9 centimetre ripple goes through the Earth's crust.
Interesting.
I'd never heard of
No,
it
I never heard
before.
that either.
But you know, so like with earthquakes, if that wave is bigger, it's just going to flip them like boats on the water.
yeah.
It looks like it just turned upside down. It just was up there and it rolled over down here.
Well, it looks like it because it's a staircase, you know, an upside down staircase, unless you're MC Escher, is kind of useless.
But it's almost like this block
this stuff.
was originally carved, you know, and it was flipped over.
Yeah.
And now I mean, maybe an earthquake could have done that, but, you know, if you have these tractor beam type levitation things, I mean, they could have taken this giant boulder, lifted it up, and flipped
Well,
it
so
around and
in
dropped
theory,
it
then
again.
this would have been flipped up on higher ground.
Yeah,
if it would have
like
been
up here, and
the
then
way
they,
it
yeah,
flipped
and
it
they-
over and upside down.
Yeah,
here.
and then there was already cut, and I don't know.
If that is the case, then underneath that should be probably some flat bit or
Anybody
more.
want to do some rock climbing and hang so you can get your feet on the stairs?
I like the flip over theory better.
I don't know, but here comes the rain. I gotta find some shelter.
We'll go into the tunnels.
Yeah, that's right. Upside down staircase.
We should keep moving, and let's do head for the tunnels. Jennifer, is Jennifer coming? Yeah, she's got a good flashlight. I got a couple flashlights.
Some sort of a ceremonial spot.
Well, the cool thing about this is that this was excavated 10 years ago, and it was filled with dirt, and this is where they found at least 10 elongated skull mummies.
Really?
Complete.
Well, those look like little thrones or something over there.
Yeah, little niches, but this whole area, all this stuff is carved, and some of it looks quite, you know, some of it's quite pointless,
This
like
has got
that
to be
one.
some
What
sort
are
of
they
a...
doing with the skulls and the skeletons? Are they in a museum?
Oh, they're in a warehouse. You know, it's a typical Indiana Jones. You know, they're in a warehouse somewhere. But this one's neat too, because this this stone down here has some kind of signs of tool. You know, like maybe high-tech tool work was active on it. Like this cutting mark here is doubtful that this is a hand tool. This looks more like some kind of cutter, like in the little cave we were just in. Some little cutter went past it.
It's going to Lima, to going to Lake Titicaca. There's a weird town up near Lake Titicaca called Lampas where they built this church. And below the church are these catacombs. And you go down below, and in these catacombs they show you part of a tunnel that's been now blocked off. But part of it goes to the north, which would be to Cusco, and then the other part is going to the south, which would be towards Tiwanaku and Pumapunku and stuff. But throughout Peru and the Altiplano here are all of these legends of these tunnels. It's a really big deal here, and all Peruvians have heard these stories. And there's supposedly gold treasure in the tunnels. All the Inca kings supposedly were mummified and then clad in gold, and they were kept at the Coricancha. But at the time of the Spanish conquest, the Incas started moving all this stuff out of the Coricancha to get it away from the Spanish, because they realized this was what the Spanish were after, all this treasure. And so part of the story is that they moved it into this tunnel system. So, all right.
So there's
we'll
no
go through.
telling how deep this tunnel goes?
Oh, we're
Well,
going.
we're just
we're
going to
going.
go through
All the
a
way.
thing, and it's open up, and then we go through a really dark spot, and that's where we need.
Oh, I would have brought mine. I didn't know where
Yeah, I should have told you to
brought
bring
one.
your.
Well, also, if you look back that way and you see that really giant carved out crop, and you look on the right-hand side and you see that it's broken away, that stone is called the Chincana, because on the right-hand side you can see where the actual entrance is to get into it. That's the tunnel that goes to Cusco. But the government keeps coming back and shoving stone back in because people are trying to dig it up. Maybe because they think there's, they'll find the pathway to the gold. But like I said, the thing is that what the local people say is that it's not a tunnel, it's a labyrinth. And once you get in, you'll never find your way back out.
They have a name for it. They call it the Chincana.
Wow, it's very, very short. Where
Yeah,
you,
it's
where
a-
you
we-
can't see.
Okay, I filmed this before, but we're going through the little chincana, little tunnel.
Oh, you have a flashlight?
Yeah.
I definitely should have taken this and let you bring up the rear with all this.
That's one to Brian.